Greetings and salutations, all the internet denizens. This is I, Wolffoetowtech, and here we are with another video, and it's coming directly to you through the power of the internet via the YouTube video sharing platform. And today, as you've probably seen, I'm going to take a moment to talk about COPPA, and I did not write any notes because I'm actually semi-familiar with COPPA, as I was a TOS enforcer on DeviantArt a long time ago. Before I started my first YouTube, before I started the YouTube channel that still the oldest YouTube channel that still exists, which is my other Wolfphototech channel, which has just random goofy videos thrown on it that I did over the years. It's just a channel of random. As a lot of people know, and some do not, interestingly enough, a lot of people do not know about the whole COPPA situation. Squirrels on the neighbor's roof. There's my window goes out to my neighbor's roof. So, and there happens to be squirrels that live on my neighbor's roof. So, yeah. I literally had one run up to the window and like put his paws on the window. What is that? You know. But anyways, yeah, stuff like that is like getting dangerously close to children's content, being humorous and cute and funny and having bright colors. Let's make this really clear. There's actually a bunch of really weird things and a lot of misinformation being spread about COPPA. It's actually hilarious and sad and irritating. And the biggest part of the problem is a combination. It's actually no, it's not. It's not a single thing. It's three things. First and foremost, the propensity in which government has to expand regulation into more areas over time. They naturally like to do that. They like to get their hands in more stuff, which it increases employment within the government and secures job employment and funding for their programs and employees. Which is probably a good chunk why the fine is $42,000 plus per instance, since when you violate COPPA. Fix the COPPA! Fix the COPPA! That's not quite Arnold Schwarzenegger enough up there, but I'll come back to it maybe at the end of the video or something else. The government, the original point of COPPA, I mean, like one of the original points, it rolled off the back end of COPPA, is that it was basically to protect children from, first and foremost, it was the prior law before COPPA, which came around just before, was to protect children. I kind of said its name. It's actually another one of those dumb acronym laws, like C.O.P.P.A something on which also is tied into COPPA as well. But it protects against, primarily the original purpose was to protect against pedophiles and people hunting down, looking for kids online for predation, sexual predation, sexual predators, pedophiles. Yeah. MatPat didn't want to say that word in his video, pedophiles. But that also ties into the current role in YouTube history with a few other issues as well. But the first one was the government recognizing that pedophiles are out there, and after people complained about the internet and kids getting on it, part of the problem is little kids getting on the internet and putting down personal information, and that's a bad thing in itself, because kids are really prone to just typing out stuff that they shouldn't be typing out when they get really happy and excited because they want to make friends with everyone. Kids are innocent like that. So the first problem is the government expanding into areas. There's some legitimate points in the beginning end of it, and it kind of becomes less legitimate as it goes on, which is just normal for governments to do over time, is that they tend to just expand out. That is probably like the start off problem, but that's not the big problem in this situation. Then the next problem is YouTube and Google kind of screwing the pooch and posting all kinds of dumb shit and a lot of dumb stuff. Basically advertising the site as being child friendly various times, which the original point, the legal wording in the YouTube toast is that YouTube is a 13 plus site. However, YouTube at some point, it gets pointed out in various channels like Game Theory and a few others, that the YouTube people at the top came to the crazy ass conclusion that it's a good idea to say that YouTube is also kid friendly and is very popular amongst kids, which is just stupid. You got YouTube Kids app. Parents, if your kids are on tablets or phones, only open up the YouTube Kids app for them, or only have the YouTube Kids app on the tablet. That way the kid just has that app and they go there, and that's the kids domain and not the 13 plus domain, which is YouTube main. And this is a 13 plus channel, quasi almost 10 plus or E10 plus channel. I rarely swear. I rarely drink. I occasionally will drink alcohol in my videos, and when I'm talking about gaming news and stuff like that in the older videos. If you watch some of my older videos, you'll see I have a can of Reds or a can of Leinenkugels goes out, and I'm drinking that, or I'm drinking my coffee. It's early in the day. I'm not a day drinker. But anyways, the second problem is YouTube forgot where its place was, and then started promoting things that should not be promoting, and permitting and letting things slide that they should not have slide. That is probably, it's the middle finger. Okay? That's YouTube. They're the ones that super fucked up. They did a lot of fuck up. FTC should pretty much just focus on them and just slap them back and forth. You are fucking idiots. YouTube Kids. There's YouTube. You promote YouTube Kids. You leave YouTube for the teens and the adults. And the occasional senior citizen that roams on. Occasionally we'll get some senior citizens that pop in onto my videos, particularly some of the older movie review videos I did in the past, which I will be doing again. I'll be returning to that whole territory and getting back into movie reviews. I focus on mostly the older stuff when I do get into it. At the end of this video, I'll actually come up with solutions, and I'm gonna come up with a rough schedule, not a schedule, but a rough general plan out of what I'm going to shift into. I'm still going to do gameplay videos. I'm going to change my titles ever so slightly. That's little kitty thing right there. Not that direction, up the other direction. I'm going to change the titles on a lot of my videos. However, in the case of E-rated games, I just recently bought that. I haven't even played it yet. I'm really busy. I have a huge back catalog. People go on get onto my Switch friend me on my Switch account and wonder why I don't always have hundreds and hundreds of hours of Switch gameplay. Well, I'm busy playing other games. You'll see another video that pops up just before this one comes out called Scrap Clicker 2. I play a bunch of mobile games. I play a bunch of Nintendo games. Uh, Mostly E and E10 with some teen thrown in there. But I generally just enjoy games that are less violent. That's just how I am. I kind of fit into Nintendo's those sensibilities when it comes to video games. As far as the enjoyment of which. Uh, and back to my previous thing, I like to just make a trip off track and then I come back to the track. And then the third fuck up is all the people freaking out and people anti freaking out. What I mean by anti freak out is I'm being really over the top, like freaking out because I'm a little bit on the Asperger's autistic side. When I think about emotions, I don't process them entirely right. So sometimes when I think like someone's emotional reaction or there's autism and Asperger's is really interesting. I should actually do a video explaining the variations in expression in autism and Asperger's. The modern DSM-5s basically kind of merges Asperger's into autism and reclassifies it as high functioning autism. But I'm off that trail and I'm coming back. But back to the third point. A lot of people are freaking out and a lot of people are anti-freaking out. And you obviously understand the freaking out. Just all the stuff like the world is going to end. We have to send 1,000 angry messages to the FTC. We have to do all kinds of shit like that. The FTC is actually not the biggest villain in this. It's YouTube for screwing up so many things and basically almost having an out path. And there was an out path. There's actually multiple option sets that inside the COPPA law that enables YouTube to okay, we can work with that and nothing would change on YouTube whatsoever. YouTube literally went, there's good option, there's a slightly better option, there's an even better option, there's a okay option, and then there's poor option. And YouTube went with, let's do the poor option. That's the option we want. We want to do the dumb option. And they went with the dumb option. Yeah, that's one of those things. Yeah, I just laugh at weird points I make sometimes. But that's the YouTube fuck up. In that dumb option results in people panicking, as you've seen. But then, as I'm going to have to explain now, there's anti-panicking where people say there's absolutely no problem, it's going to be all the same, or they literally ignore it. I'm not ignoring this. I do not make money on my channel. However, I am not a fan of losing money. I already lose money. I technically lose money on my channel because I pay for a lot of extra internet capacity just so I have the ability to upload a bunch of videos. Not fast, but I have the ability to upload a bunch of videos. And people know that in the past. I've uploaded 4 or 5 videos in a day. Some of them ranging from 5 minutes and it's to 47 minutes long. But yeah, that is that whole fun little shindig right there. First and foremost, people need to just calm down. I need to calm myself down because I absorb negative energy and positive energy. I need to come back to the positive because I have a hard time processing both. The negative energy is the harder one. The panic, the chaos. I have to go into my calm spot, as to say. But anyways, that's the whole deal. Now, what explains as to I'm gonna put the link into the FTC ruling in the section in the comment in the. Well, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna put it in the comment section below, and I'm gonna put it in the description box so it happens twice, so the people are twice as less likely to miss it. People miss everything. I miss stuff sometimes too. I'm amazed when I miss stuff. But anyways, first and foremost is the content. The presentation of the content, so like the thumbnails and the titles on your video, is that enticing to a child? And when I said enticing, it's a little bit closer to the more correct concept, as opposed to what YouTube did and what they kind of YouTube and a lot of YouTubers gave conflicting and misleading terminology when in describing this sometimes. But there's a few that like Ian Corzon and Rich from your Wolffoetowtech USA. That's a damn good channel. You have to go watch that. That's a good channel. From your Wolffoetowtech USA. Have pointed out that the word they used, the FTC, is appealing, which is like crazy little territory to go into, because, by the way, I left a comment on the FTC page, so you can go there yourself. It's in the links below, stating as to what the issue is. But the problem with appealing is that children are attracted or appealed or enticed by pretty much anything. If it is there in the sphere of attention, they become interested in it, and then the more different it is from whatever else they have seen, the more interested they become into it. And this is fun because this is handy because I've actually studied a bit of philosophy and psychology and sociology and biology, and video games are just enticing to children. Toys are enticing to children. Profanity is enticing to children. Children are amused or interested by profanity. Any 2-year-old someone has ever swore in front of a 2-year-old. If people react to it, the 2-year-old might pick up the swear word and start using it all the time. Like, you get a 2-year-old who says fuck, fuck, fuck. And just because of the reaction people have to the word fuck. Children are fascinated by sex. They're fascinated. The moment they become aware of something, they become fascinated by it. That is one of the beautiful things about kids, is that they are immediately fascinated by anything they come across. The trick is not crushing that fascination, but also directing them away from things that they shouldn't be focusing on, because it's a concept that is beyond their range of capacity to comprehend or process. You don't necessarily need to talk to little children about gender and sex and all that shit. You could be a little bit later on that, or you could go with the scaling route about that and just step it up. Just slightly more information as you go over time. And there's issues in that as well. But the problem with children is when you start using the word appealing, it just gets into everything. Kids are interested in just basically everything, and if they're not interested in something, it is either something that appears to be completely boring to them, or that's typically what it is. It's pretty much boring to them, or it's something that they have incredible difficulty and they suffer at trying to learn it. If it's something that is easy to digest, or something that's just fascinating or different, they'll pretty much grab onto it. So you could give them an AO game or an MA game, or show them all kinds of crazy stuff, and they'll be interested in it. They like to watch scary movies. It's one of those things that you put bedtime at 9 o'clock, and there's all this scary, weird, crazy stuff after 9 o'clock. They want to stay up to watch that stuff because you put a barrier, and they want to like wander over and watch. Now, kind of backing over and turning back around to one of the solution points is most websites, including DeviantArt, the solution that they had to COPPA is like, if you're under 13, get the fuck out. If you are under 13 and you say you're under 13 or give away any information that anyone could ever trace back to you that indicates you are under 13, you get the fuck out of here. Okay, that's kind of the solution to a lot of websites. And you know what? Honestly, if you remember, wind this back when I was talking earlier about how YouTube completely fucked this show over, is that they started talking about that YouTube is super popular with little kids. You know what? That sounds like you're advertising to adults to allow kids to go on the platform, or be passive to letting kids getting on the platform. You opened the door to little kids, and you put candy in the entrance, and then the people on the other side of the doorway, me, PewDiePie, Markiplier, MatPat, all the other YouTubers, Thunder Productions, so on and so on and so on, who are standing on the other side, all of a sudden see kids come into the place, and then YouTube basically being at the entrance, make sure everything is kid safe. All you guys, be kid friendly. You're not kid friendly, you're in trouble. That's the fuck show in which YouTube. That's the fuck show in which YouTube made. They decided at some point they saw kids. Kids are easily marketed to, which is a part of COPPA. That's why COPPA exists in its current form now. It evolved from the law prior to COPPA recognizing pedophiles online and trying to hunt down kids, and then there's also COPPA that connects off of that is focused more on like the issue with kids being really susceptible to advertising and such, and parents having weak wills, and which then YouTube apparently at one point realized, hey, there's a bunch of money in advertising, because kids 8-year-olds, 6-year-olds, 10-year-olds, anyone under the age of 18 has a ridiculous amount of spare time on their hands. And when, as a small YouTuber myself, I mean like really small, like next to nothing, and I'm an adult. I'm 36 years old, by the way. I got the thinning hair to prove it. It's thinning up there. It's turning gray right here. I actually shaved my chest recently. If I was a female YouTuber, I get flagged for this. I actually shaved my chest recently, and I can't find a gray hair, but there's gray hairs speckled through my stubble. But anyways, I forgot the point I was trying to make. Yeah, if I roughly remember where I was going, YouTube basically set its own trap for itself. And then also, according to various sources, says when people noticed YouTube was advertising to kids, YouTube basically offered a lot of YouTubers and a lot of shit up which it did not need to do as a sacrifice, which is completely crazy and unreasonable, because the the point I have to make now is that there's like 3 options within the COPPA law. There is adult content, there is kids content, and then there's general audience content. And also, in the case of phones and shit like that, when parents have their own accounts and they hand the kid the phone with their own account, the parent's account, that's also an exemption within COPPA itself. So if the kids had their own little thing, perfectly fine. Parents handing the phone to the kid is essentially giving permission to the kid, hey, you can watch YouTube or YouTube Kids. The parent opens up YouTube. That's the fourth group of people that are at fault here. Parents. But not because entirely that they complained or they handed kids their phones, but because they kind of did both at the same time. And it's most likely the parents that did both at the same time. They grabbed their phone, they had the regular YouTube app or some other website, and they handed it to their kids, and their kids found something on it, and then the parents got pissed off. Those are the parents that we should send the $42,000 fine for each instance since a violation to. Yeah, there's YouTube Kids and there's YouTube, and you give your kids the YouTube Kids app. So I'm sorry, I'm like rambling all over the place here. But anyways, as I was explaining, there's multiple problems there. Probably the biggest one is YouTube itself for completely screwing up. As I said, there is adult content, there's kids content. Those are the 2 categories YouTube has, but there's also a third category called general audience. And as I said, it's kids and adults, and it's kids using adult accounts in which adults gave them. And COPPA says, like, the parent basically opened the door for the kids and let them into the area. The adult is liable for that. The adult is liable to that. They're the one that's responsible for like letting the kid into the area, which is why a lot of websites have that. Please get permission from a parent or guardian before coming to this website. Right there. And that's that simple. And as I go back and point back, remember that YouTube basically started all of a sudden trying to make the main YouTube site more kids friendly. It's their fault. They're the one that's primarily at fault. Second one is the parents who simultaneously handed their kids their phone with the YouTube app, and then also complained that kids found something on YouTube that they're not supposed to find. Those are the 2 main groups that are at fault. So I was kind of talking about what counts as kid entertainment. Basically, if your thumbnail is pretty colors, if you are covering subjects like video games, sort of according to the COPPA and YouTube version, or toys, or make cute, funny stories or animation, stuff like that, that is appealing in appealing fashion to children, that's where it gets hooked on. And it's in the link below. I'm not going to try to go over the entire list. I'll let people read it themselves. So now, at this point, I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do with my channel. Which is, I've come up with 2 plans. I'm not entirely sure which one I want to do. But what I'm thinking is that all my games, the there's one option where all the games in which that are rated E, I will label as for kids, as it is for now. And then anything else that is like a news video or a movie review that is not oriented towards kid, does not involve content that orients towards a kid, I will mark that as adult. So everything that is straight up obviously towards kids, yeah, I'll mark as for kids, which is, you know, I'll put Super Kirby Clash in the for kids category, and I'll put say, like, if I was playing, oh, good grief, I was playing Armored Core. I decided one day to get my PS2 and PS3 out and play Armored Core for the original PlayStation, PlayStation 2, and PlayStation 3. Yeah, all the Armored Core games, those games I would most definitely put in the adult category, or content not for kids. And as well as anything that is teen or M-rated as well. I don't have a lot of teen M-rated games on my shelf here. I kind of like tuck them off because, you know, YouTube had that really strange thing, as I was telling you before, where they were basically trying to make YouTube cleaner and prettier and friendlier for kids, which is not what they classify it as, and which is not what FTC was aware of until someone complained about the shift in that direction. Oh, yeah. You'll see probably some more stuff in this vein mixed in as well. I typically don't do a lot of M and T rated games because I generally try to keep my channel more towards E for everyone category. Mostly 10 plus, 13 plus is an age range. 10-year-olds are still in that dumb zone. For me, as someone who's in his 30s, who's talked and worked with numerous people, teenagers don't have a terribly good understanding of the world. People in their early 20s don't have a good understanding of the world. Even the super smart ones, they're just terrible. They're still the prefrontal cortex, which is the part of your brain up here that processes actions projected into the future, is not fully developed until, say, around like 24 or 25 years old. That's the early end. It kind of tapers or finishes off just slightly after that, like around 29 years old. 28, 29, you know? That's usually when it gets like into that final portion of its finishing up, fully developing and solidifying. They've also found and done studies that found that people who have who've had depression right around the age of 18 to 24 are highly prone to emotionally defaulting into depression later on in their life, repeated, you know, just cycle into it. I'm prone to that myself. I get a little depressed, but I have to keep fighting through. But anyway, where was I? What was I doing? Oh, my channel. Yeah, I was talking about what I was going to do with my channel here. I'm going to still do e-games. I'm going to expand it up towards teen and M-rated games as well. I'm just going to spread it out, and I'm going to no longer filter what I say as much. So oddly enough, I will stutter less. I'm going to stutter less. Because a lot of times I have a really dark, sort of a blue-purple sense of humor. I really need a co-host because my sense of humor works best when I have someone they're talking, they're doing something, and I can just bounce weird, crazy off of them. for them. They're saying something, and I just turn it into a sexual joke or something, or some weird observation of the moment. But that's just how my humor works. And sometimes I'll do that in a video game gameplay run through, but doesn't come so easily then. So there's sort of the option where I kind of split my channel, where some of the videos will be labeled for kids and some will not be labeled for kids, and I'm basically going to oh yeah, there's Smuggler's Run. That's a good game. Also, Smuggler's Run 2 is also a good game. But anyways, I will kind of, there's the A option, split my channel. I will also reintroduce old stuff and do more gameplay, video gaming news and movie news and stuff like that, and TV show news. So the hard thing about TV show, movie, and video game news is that it is typically very hard to build an audience on that when you're really tiny and you are a forever alone guy or girl. Typically not as hard for girls as it is for guys. Girls have the sex appeal thing, and where you got these dumb guys on the internet and, oh, there's a pretty girl, I was subscribed to her channel. But anyways, yeah, I know I'm horrible. Yeah, there's if someone's going to point out sexism and stuff like that, first and foremost, everyone is equal, but everyone is different. Point at the camera. I'm pointing at the camera. Yeah, there. That's more exact. Everyone is equal but different. Women have it better in some places. Men have it better in other places. Women have it worse in some places. Men have it worse in some places. And places can be confined to periods of life, situations, cultural norms, and different states and countries. Okay? You got it? Alrighty then. No more stupid. Alright. So there's that A option I'm thinking of where I might just literally change videos to for kids. That will mean like my Mario Kart 8 Deluxe videos, and my Splatoon 2 videos, and my I guess Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening videos, and Super Kirby Clash videos, and Splatoon videos will be labeled for kids. This will mean on those videos, the comment section will be disabled. Voting will be disabled. I think it will be disabled. There's a squirrel again. Hi, squirrel! You enjoy the squirrel? Enjoy the squirrel. But anyways, on those videos there will be no comment section, no voting section. The save to playlist feature will be disabled, so you cannot save to playlists. You will not get notifications for those videos. And now the squirrel's staring at me. The squirrel's like wondering what the fuck is wrong with this person. He's just like talking into the thing. It's a young squirrel too. It's actually still kind of on the black side. Squirrels start black. Various breeds or species of squirrels, when they're young, they start out black, and then they turn towards their more natural color tone over time. But anyways, for kids videos, there will be no comments, there will be no voting, there will be no save to playlist. You probably will not get any notifications, so you're going to have to learn my schedule. By the way, I try to upload videos every day now, post videos every day now at the same time or the same block of hours, okay? Which here in Wisconsin is 5 p.m. Central Time. Okay? There's the camera right there. So that is option A. And then there's option B where I say, screw it, all my videos those are now going to be labeled not for kids. But I'm going to change my thumbnails. I'm going to keep the titles as is because the way I put down titles was and write up my descriptions, it's boring as fuck. I'll probably insert or you notice I'm swearing more because I'm not censoring myself as much. And then there's the parent. Now the kid ran off, said there's this weird kid, this weird person commenting. There's the parent. That's the parent. Okay, I have to get done because my camera's gonna run out of minutes. It maxes out at 47 minutes record time. It's up to 40. My videos, I'm gonna say screw censoring myself. I'm gonna swear more often. I'm just gonna be more myself and not be censored version of me or restricted version of me. And going to change my thumbnails so they look less appealing to kids. And I'm going to shift or open up the variety of videos I'm going to post. Which sounds like the first option, but it's not the same because in the first option, I change a bunch of my videos to for kids, the E-rated games and all that other stuff. And the second option is where I just say, screw it, I'm just going to label it as not for kids, and I'm going to just change the thumbnail and change the wording in the description slightly, and just change the wording in the comment section in the tags slightly. Now on to the final part, which is the solutions YouTube could employ. First and foremost, YouTube could say, do what other sites do, and reinforce the absolute no people under 13 years old rule. Like, if you're under 13, get the fuck off of YouTube. That is like the easy option. Go over to YouTube Kids. Okay? A second option is, instead of simply having the for kids option and not for kids option, you could have the for kids option, mixed audience option, and for adults option. So you got 3 options, which is more accurate to the system in which the FTC has set up for standards. Okay, and also takes into account the exemption in the general audience option. And the for kids option would put all the videos to for kids, YouTube Kids. Third point is that YouTube could universalize a age rating system for their videos on the platform. They could add a little bar that says like video games, like early video games from the 90s. They could have a EC category, early childhood. They could have a rating for EC. They could have kids, which is 4 to 13 years old. They could have teens, which is 13 up. Mature, which is 17 or 18 up. And they could go from there. And that option would be really good too, because then they could partition off and say, like, this is M-rated content. And they could also, if all the YouTubers just go through their videos and say, this is content appropriate for people over the age of 13, in the YouTube algorithm could take that as an example. People could review it. They could also put it in the description boxes, like, hey, a voting system. Is this video at the end of the video? At the end of the video, is this video a M-rated video, or a little bar that says early childhood, kid, everyone rating, an E for everyone, like video games nowadays, teen, mature for 18 plus or 17 plus. and people can say, like, on the channel, just hit one of those, and yeah, this is a T rated, and YouTube can go with that. There's also the option where YouTube could use their algorithm in a smart way and recognize, hey, this person swears and says fuck all the time, or periodically, or he says words that might be concerning, like war or pedophiles or stuff like that, or zoophiles, or hemophiliac, which is, a person who eats profusely and doesn't clot very easily. And they could put those words into different age categories. He's like, hemophiliac is like teen, and plus, that's perfectly fine. And, so there. Or faggot, it could be an M or a T rated word. So if someone uses the word faggot, okay, YouTube algorithm, that video is not kid appropriate, which they already do, by the way. They have the ability already built in where it tags certain words as, like, someone says fuck, shit, crap, me crab is terrible. Eric Cartman's absolutely right about that. I'm joking, but you get the joke. It's like, kind of like how my channel works too. It was like, I make videos, and somehow I don't end up poor. Which I'm technically not poor. I'm actually decent. I have a decent job that pays well, but not exorbitantly well, and I don't spend. This is the thing I waste my money on, is video games, movies, TV shows. That's how you get rich. Is you don't blow a lot of money on a lot of different things, like a lot of things or everything. You just, like, you have your category. That's my category. I like video games, and that's the category in which I spend money on. But my car is a cheap little